means that you're not going to win the map. So we'll see if they're able to pull it all together here on beautiful, scenic Hanamura.
Sounds like a travel guide. You're trying to, what, are you getting, who's giving you the money to promote Hanamura, huh?
Why do you think I'm always getting paid off? Is it just because of how great the Lumerico Corporation was? Look, I am a very unbiased person who will only sell out for a surprisingly small amount of money, so call me now.
Wow. It's good to hear, because I am exactly the same. People, whoever the Hanamura people are, I think it's like the clan or whatever. The
Shimada clan.
Shimada clan, yeah. So I'm down. So hit me up with some money. I'll make some brochures for you as well. We'll be rolling out this first fight, and we see a Mei from Nice on the side of Fusion Uni.
All right, I'm down for a little bit of trickery here, and we'll see how it works. You got the early split, and now what do? You go for Nomi, you delete him from the game. It's that more Magician Reinhardt nonsense coming in here, but it's good enough, right? Where you're not expecting the wall, and by the time it happens, it's already too late.
Demecking D.Va as well at the end of the fight, really, really good. Because they have to go back to spawn, they have to swap, they lose all of their ult charge that they're building. Not a lot, mind you, but still extra delay. Good split. We saw it as well in EU contenders, actually, with Windstrike versus Giganti. We saw a Mei utilize. And I think if First doesn't make a swap here, I really don't want to see them playing this comp into Mei. But here they come. They're all through. They get isolated. Snillo gets 2. But they do lose Snillo in return.
The problem is they were under so much pressure to get directly through the gate that Snillo just had his pick of who he wanted to smash with the mace, and he picked 2. And that was enough.
Snillo getting 2 picks there, immediately off the back, off the isolation. That's what you want to see from Fusion. Elk goes back to speed him. I really want First Gen to swap. I don't want them to play Reinhardt into this. I want to see a Winston. I want to see anything other than this, because you're playing directly into Fusion Uni's hands. You have to bait the wall. They have to bait the wall if they want to get through.
And it's a real problem because Nice is very good at having judgment here where, okay, the wall's going to come in. This is actually not a very effective wall. This is an opportunity. First Gen moving in at Nomi, getting real close to the shadow. Rob was under pressure, but he's going to heal back up. If he can stay alive, no, he can't. Alarm finishes him off. He was so close to getting Transcendence, but still a winnable fight. Elk out of it. Bernhardt going around the side, drop the grab, all through Fusion University, gonna be there. And that should be enough. But now, for Nomi, he's used the Shatter. Now should be the time to switch, no?
I agree. They should swap. They use Shatter. They can't get through. They haven't managed to bait the wall yet. They only got in that time because Nice messed up the wall at all. You're just counting on human error there. But they're going to decide to keep it on. And I don't know. I'm still not sold. I'm not sold on this. I want to see a swap. They could even get some DPS characters. They could get Sombra. They could get Pharah. There is no D.Va out on the field for Fusion Uni.
There comes to a world where you need to respect the Mei. Yes, that is a sentence I just said in 2018, but it's true. Right now, you don't want to run around into this. The split's going to happen again. They're looking for Hui. Here comes the hammer. Hui's healed all the way up, though. Transcendence coming in just in time for Rob, but it's not in time to save Nomi. Nomi out of it. Snillo gone, and Fusion University able to bring it back where they're down the Brigitte, but now they can just back up a bit. And okay, they're looking for Chang. Are they going to take him down? That actually is pretty good for First Gen.
But on the back line, Elk picks up Rob because Rob was flanking. The fight is so strong here for Fusion Uni on the point. Alarm pops to the trance. They're just cleaning up. They were split. First Gen, they dropped the grab to get Chang's. They did not come back together. And Elk getting the pick on Rob, actually on the flank, is huge.
And now you got to think Elk is on the delivery service right now, getting Changsik back out to the fight as soon as possible. And this is quite grim for First Gen. They're down to their final minute.
Hey, once again, H-Key, strong as Q-Key, just as strong in these situations. First Gen really wants to commit to this fight. Nice is back, though. The wall is going to be ready. They need to make sure to bait it, to split properly. They're split again. Nomi, he almost...
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. He's just gone. That was too good of a wall. As soon as that wall split them away, the fight was over. Final 30 seconds now. Coming in for First Generation. Is it still worth the swap to the Winston now, or are you committed?
Too late now. I mean, you could swap to the Winston to go to touch point, maybe. You could try to go full dive to run past this. But,
all right.
And there it is. There it is. They've swapped. They've swapped. Thank the heavens. Thank the heavens. Why didn't they do this like 4 minutes ago, ZP? But Fusion Uni's ult ad, look at how strong they are.
This is going to be real difficult. Early Shatter coming in from Jamesick. They want to end it before it even begins. 5 seconds. Someone has to get onto the point. It's going to be 10 seconds. Use the barrier to get over and force it into overtime. Rob, early Transcendence. Everyone going through and everyone getting melted down or frozen out, as it were. And the Mei, the control coming out from Fusion University, something that First Generation could not get through on most of their pushes. It's going to lead to a full hold on point A for Fusion University, and also, that is a series win. That is flat out a series win because the very best that first gen could do now would be a draw.
It's true, they can't win. There is no way for first gen to win now, and these walls were so good. They kept splitting them, they weren't baiting them, they weren't able to properly get around them, and every time they got 3 people, they got maybe even just 1 person, they were able to split them. They had 1 good entry, but then their follow-up was so strong because there's no trance. Why did they not swap CP? Why is the H key not bound? Is the H key not bound on any of their keyboards?
I honestly think it just comes down to not respecting the Mei pick, where you take a look at it and go, oh, yeah, this is what people try in my quick play and my ladder games all the time, and we get around it. I got news for you. If Fusion University is committing to a strategy like that, they probably have good reason, and you should take it seriously, and I simply don't think that first generation saw it as a threat.
They didn't even have to swap off the GOATS comp. They could have just got the Winston to make more pressure on the backline, to get through the chokes in different ways, to be more mobile, but they chose to stay on the Ryan, and the Mei is so strong against it. They weren't even running a Diva. There was no Diva. They had plenty of opportunity to run Sombra, run Pharah, run Hanzo, even Widow. They had so much space, so many different options to actually move around since there's no Diva on the field, but they just chose to stay on their comp, maybe a little afraid to swap.
You can go back and look at that, and honest to God, there was only about 2 to maybe 3 fights that were even winnable there for first gen, because every other fight was simply eradicated by the Mei wall. The Mei wall was put down, and it was all over but the crying. So it was very, very good control coming in from Fusion University.
I also want to point out that Elk was so aggressive on that defense multiple times, not just hunting Rob, but going into the back line on the stairs on that one engage where Nomi dropped the shatter. He was able to get picked there at the end, but he put so much presence. And this is going to be a Hanzo Pharah comp out from Fusion Uni. They're deciding they want to mitigate the choke. They want to do what first gen did not.
Well, they already have the Hammond over on the point. They're getting progress already. They didn't want to take the risk of having to deal with the Mei early on. And Nomi in a rough spot. Rockets from both ends. Diva on the front, Afara on the back. Nomi has nowhere to go right now. Trying to charge back onto the point. Will get there successfully. But the pressure coming in from Fusion University, pretty intense right now. Although, first gen is able to push it back a bit.
They had a good job opening it up there on the side of Fusion University. They were able to get through the choke. Chainzik was able to touch point. But nice drop very low. Maybe not good management of his boosters there, because Hui was just able to sit there and shotgun him. And that should not be possible when you're playing Diva.
Yeah, Hui was just going, I'm just going to continue the left click you. This is great.
But it looks like they're just going to be setting up for the next engagement here. Fusion just building these ults up again, trying to get point presence as Chainzik touches the point, makes them turn around, and Fusion should come in after that.
You know, they have this consistent vermin problem to the back. Chainzik going to get hit with a little bit of CC, but now Naga out in the middle of nowhere right now. Needs help. Can't get away. Getting chased down. And finally, they have to burn the Transcendence to keep him up from the pressure. But Fusion says, you know what? We're going to fight fire with fire here. Transcendence with Transcendence. Move back over. Here's the Dragon coming straight into the point. And overall, first gen is doing a good job of holding this. They deal with the Pharah.
Hui getting Niced again. This is a huge outplay from Hui, I should say. Rob getting Snow late. Hui should not be able to get Nice this many times. It should not be happening. He needs to be alive. He needs to be up in the air. He needs to be making that space, making that presence. His team needs to be ready to set him up for those barrages, especially since they just used a Hanzo ult and a Valk.
By the way, Sneaky Hammond still back here, always on the point. If you're looking for him, this is usually where he's going to be.
He's touching the point here. He's got ult as well. He could realistically drop it, try to force him off the side. He's going to commit for Rob. Instead, there is no trance on the side for Rob right now. And Chainzik just running through the enemy team.
That was real close to being a tactical feed there. That was not very good.
Not tactical.
Yeah, not tactical.
Rob's getting Nice now. What? Nice is getting hard countered.
He's getting wrecked by everything. Realistically speaking, it's like, hey, who wants to take out the Pharah? Everyone raises their hand. Everyone is scarily efficient at it. But first gen, gonna invest the barrier here. They go back over to the point. Nice is still in the back. Oh, no! Hui booped off the side. All right, he's going for Fat Wars. Barrage in the back. Transcendence deals with it. Nice. Please switch off Pharah. It's not working, man. It's not working, even with the boop.
They pick up Elk on the back because he can't escape anymore without Nice. They're getting this Nomi. Wow, nice fire strike. Getting Snow as he jumps out the window. This isn't this character, CP. Nice is not really looking too hot on the Pharah so far.
Not in the least. Fusion University now down to their final minute. First gen on the verge of making this a draw. Again, it doesn't do that much for them, but it's still, of course, map score-wise, you want to do the most you can do.
And you don't want the draw, you don't want the map score. There's a good shatter out from Nomi. So aggressive, catching him at the choke. I love that play. Well played from them. Naga setting it up. Now the delay onto Bernard. last fight territory for Fusion, and they have no ults. 0 ult CP, and look at first gen. They're going to have Bomb, they're going to have Grab soonish, and a rally.
This is very, very good for first gen here, and Bernard is going to get delayed, so they're only going to have about 15 seconds when they make this approach.
Fusion? They ran out of steam. I would say they ran out of steam so far, but they've won the series. If we talked about this, they have to approach the point now through the choke. They have to use ults to get, or not ults, but cooldowns to get in. First should be looking so aggressive for this fight. They know they can catch them. Bubbles are out. Nobody's on the corner. Trans out for alarm. It's breaking down.
Early Transcendence there. They had to blow it early. They're looking for anything that they can get here. Rob, though, going to have a Transcendence of his own. Bomb from Hui. It does heavy damage to the backline, and that's going to be enough. Chainsick and Burner out of there, and one good full hold deserves another. And the only back-breaking part of this here for first generation is that, in the end, it didn't even matter.
That map was silly.
Yeah.
That map was a little silly, ZP. Why? They weren't able to swap heroes on the side of first gen. They didn't respect the Mei. They didn't change their approach. Fusion did change their approach, but weren't getting the value they needed out of the Pharah Mercy in particular. Odd. Very odd.
I mean, what it came down to, and I think, realistically speaking, when you see a Pharah just get wrecked by all the different sources that came down, where it was a team effort. It was really just sort of, guys, we're going to have a competition. Whoever takes down the Pharah the most, free pizza for the month. Everyone got in on it. Everyone was in. And to a degree, there is like bad luck that's involved, but also things like this barrage here, it just wasn't a very good decision.
Even after getting a great boop on Hui, he recognizes there's no boosters, so he gets the boop, but he should have waited a little bit longer. His team wasn't there to set up this barrage at all. Yeah. He didn't. I don't know if there was a lack of communication, maybe a misplay, someone wasn't there to help him out, but they could have waited, played the point a lot longer. It showed that maybe they're not very comfortable on Pharah Mercy. They're not very comfortable playing Nice in particular on that Pharah, and they could have stayed on their goats, maybe played dive goats, changed up their approach, which First did not, since there wasn't an Mei. I don't know.
I do think to a degree there might have been tilt at the end, and oh man, speaking of tilt, just tilt that hammer right into the ground and deal with everyone. Great combo to set that up there, coming in from Nomi, just sort of the cherry on top to a very ineffective attack run by Fusion University. But I would really chalk that up. I think it's two things, right? Anytime you get a full hold like that, it's A, the defense is playing pretty well, but B, the offense not only wasn't playing super well, but I think they did get a few bad breaks there, where as much as we're kind of memeing about Pharah just dying to everything, that requires a bit of bad luck for that to happen to the degree that it did.
Also, maybe not the amount of support that he wanted. Just not maybe. They needed that support. They needed a diva. And the Mei, look how well the splits here from Nice. Nice played extremely well in the Mei, but not as, this didn't have the same impact on Pharah, really. Honestly, I would have liked to see him play Mei on offense, particularly. Just get through the choke with the Mei wall. Maybe let Nice go to work there. Yeah,
I mean, it was a tale of two rounds for him, but I think it just comes down to the fact that the Mei was really well played. And to your point is that I don't think they really played around the Pharah super well, and they certainly stayed on it way too long. Now, the scary thing here, and something that First Gen's probably going to be kicking themselves as they go to Route 66 now, is that think about how all of that went down. If they were simply able to get one tick on their offense, this would still be a series, and that's going to sting even more if First Gen is able to come in here and take Route 66 as we go forward.
Last map Andes is the term I've heard. Envy has been using that term as last map Andes, and it would be pretty appropriate here as well, especially since First Gen did not play poorly throughout the series. Fusion University was playing very well. Getting to the last map here, it's important. You need the map score, but just even be able to win that map, the series wouldn't be over. Yeah. This could be something they go to a map 5, maybe even get up the win and keep up their unbeaten record.
You think about the difference in energy here for First Generation. Now you know for sure that you're not going to be first seed at the very end of this, and more than that as well, if you were going into this with it being 2-1, you'd be really pumped up to bring this one back. Now, though, it's more about planning for the future.
Making sure you don't drop those maps. First Gen looking like they might run Sombra Widow, but I have been baited before, ZP. I won't accept this. I know they're going to be swapping. Yep, Zafri swapping back to that Zarya, but Fusion running a Sombra of their own, actually.
Snillo just, I'm not going to say he's fully freed here, but maybe one shackle is off and the other shackle is giving a little bit more chain. That's how I'm really interpreting this.
He's going to be sitting on this backline looking for a hack, looking for to get damage. Tinsa did run into him. He's looking for him. He's going to be watching. He should be watching because he can't let Rob get picked.
Snillo goes to the back, gets the early hack on the Zarya. Chainsick falls early here. First Gen finding what they need to find here, and it's working out quite well for them. Snillow's hack, in the end, not really doing too much, and First Gen, they just kind of roll into them, and the Sombra doesn't do much.
Well played from the side of First Gen as well. When a team is running a single DPS character and you don't have that value on the front line, there's no Zarya. Look, no Zarya at all for Fusion. You can afford to just run into the enemy team Reinhardt. There's no bubble to save you at all. First Gen recognized their advantage, took the fight aggressively, and even though Elk and Snillow combined at the end to get robbed, he'll be back in time.
And the other thing, too, is that you gotta be thinking, as we look forward to the future, Zafri is really looking forward to that world without having to deal with the Diva. And now First Gen, again, looking for chain sync, but Snillow found Rob in the back. While the front line was going on, he got there, but again, the front line pressure from First Gen so strong that they just obliterate the tanks and do even more.
And this is where GOATS thrives, is on a fight like this, where you're just missing a tank. You need another tank. Even if you don't have Zarya for the bubble, or you don't have Diva to eat, to shoot shield, to pressure, you don't have any of that utility from those tank characters. Snillow now swapping to Junkrat. He's determined, okay, never mind. Nice going Zarya, Snillow going Brig, Bernard back to Diva. They've decided enough's enough, we're going to GOATS.
And just for reference, he almost had an EMP, but that's how important having the right composition is when you're running a 3-3, is that you give up the 94% EMP.
EMP doesn't necessarily, it will win you one fight at best, but it will not win you any more from there because you won't have it. Here comes First Gen fighting on the point. Fusion just trying to contest the card.
Zafri does have to worry about grab getting now, but they're looking for chain sync again. Hui able to knock them back. They deal with them early on. They have the man advantage. They don't have to worry about the Rhine. And again, this is where it could be just about cleanup. Zafri charged up, deals with his counterpart. He's ready for more. I just don't know if they need to use the Transcendence here.
They were so aggressive on that backline. They weren't even able to pick up the frag of Elk that was directly in front of them after the bash. They forced the Trance out, and now Fusion has both support ults coming out in this fight. But First Gen, they have the combo. They need to set it up properly. Combo will beat both of those as long as they get the bubbles out. They set it up very well.
And Zafri has historically been very good at these setups, so he's going to be taking the high ground here, looking for the most likely area for them to come in, and he can just drop this grab to the right side. But now, the opportunity a little bit passive, he's going to have to drop it down. He has to give more respect to Bernard.
There it is.
Oh, well, Bernard going to get knocked to the ground. Grab is fall through. Here comes the bomb right to the back. What's it going to get? Doesn't get anything, but they're still able to isolate chain sync, and that should be enough, even though it's a very, very heavy investment.
Heavy investment is fine there in that fight because you're able to isolate targets, you're able to split. Both rallies are out there. There's so much, and there's the grab too. No support ult, late, but it's breaking down.
Nice.
Naga's still alive. Trans out for Rob. They should be able to pick up Nice, pick up the tanks, but Alarm 75% on another trans. He almost has another trans in the same fight.
He's super, super close here. His hero plays from Nice. Finally gonna fall. Alarm gets sniped to the back, but that was very, very close to being brought back, and perhaps more importantly, from the Fusion University side, they were able to make First Gen spend those dollars on that fight.
A lot of dollar reduce invested, but when you have a fight break down for so long as well, you build up the dollar reduce again. Your investment compounds. Look at the ults once again for First Gen. Naga, almost another rally. Nomi, another shatter. When you have fights that run for a long time in GOATS, you still build up an ult economy even after investment. Something to keep in mind.
Really, we just have hyperinflation going on. Earth Shatter coming in. One knockdown to the back. Self-destruct. Finds Zafri. And the positioning change forced by that ruins the fight for First Gen. They're simply going to have to back up.
Well played, and Naga deciding to invest the rally as well because they picked up Chainzik. Fusion doesn't want to contest the card at all. They don't have a Rhine shield. They don't have the hammer to swing. First Gen still getting cap time, still getting presence even after getting isolated and split.
It actually works out for them. Usually they would back up a bit, but they call Fusion's bluff. They get more progress, but now the real fight about to begin. Chainzik going really aggro here, gets the shield right in the nick of time, and now has to back up a bit. First Gen looking to bring it the other way. Chainzik holding on to the Shadow. Early Transcendence out here. We see the Shadow still in reserve. Chainzik going really far forward, looking for it. Nomi down, and now who's going to stop the Shadow here? Well, they're just trying to bump the Reinhardt instead. Transcendence, they're mugging him on the side. He's down. Both Rhines out of the fight. Bomb to the back. Doesn't get anything, and this is where Nice has been so good.
That's going to be the end of the fight here, ZB. They're split. They have no ult to live. The rally's out on the side of Naga. Again, a little late. This was a late rally for Naga. I don't think there was any value to be had there. Your fight was over. Nomi was dead. Well played from Fusion. Their bombs, their grabs, really well played. Bernard in particular, good job at splitting. Rob, once again, like 2% away from having the chance to save Nomi.
It's been real rough to watch Rob here, where it's not that he's even playing bad, it's just a victim of terrible circumstances in ult charge.
Look at the ults here.
Oh!
Rob gets the right click on Snillo, though. That's so big. They're going to commit here. No frontline presence. Armor pack, bubble out.
Look at them just charge in. You get the early pick off. You go, let's go. Move on in. Every dude in on the fight. Hui gives up his pack, but it's a worthy sacrifice. It's a full clean sweep coming in from first generation.
Look at Bernard setting up behind. He's going to actually, I bet he's going to Diva Bomb onto the cart as Fusion comes back in, try to split them. He's so hurt, though. He has to get up. Here comes the front lines. The Bash Shatter. They get 2 people down.
But where's the bomb? Bernard's in the back. We saw him in the back. He's coming in off the flank. When you got to let this bomb go loose. Transcendence is fading away. Bernard waiting to the skies. Bomb up and over, in, doesn't get what he's looking for, but first gen, they're weakened. Nomi can't get away. He's down and isolated. They're trying to do the same with Chainsick, but they're not going to be able to do it. Safri's out of the fight, and Fusion University will be pulling this one back.
Well played from first gen, getting the pick and taking that card time, but even better from Bernard, recognizing instead of trying to get somewhere, get the health pack, try to come back into the fight, he waits behind, he waits for the grab. He had a chance, but Nice was so close, waits for the setup.
Now, a minute 20 left for first generation to get this into the very end. That's about 2 fights.
2 fights here, which are key because you can't lose too many ults for first gen, and you can't invest too many either on the side of Fusion because you know it'll be last fight. Ooh, great shatter, no Bash Shatter. There's Evie, just a big shatter from Chainsick.
Yeah, that's just that old, raw Reinhardt skill. No setup required. Finds the way to drop the hammer in. To a degree, I feel like people don't even expect that anymore.
They really do not. A lot of times Reinhardts are so focused on that Brig battle, making sure Brigitte does not get the Bash Shatter. They're watching the bubbles that they don't even think about holding the shield. Think about the Ryan games, the old Ryan games.
Think about Reinforce back in the days where he got those big shatters, sometimes not so big, you know, the back and forth, the old Blotto Force days. Good old justice for Johnny, but now we're going to see Fusion University here on the payload, and they're going to wait. First gen also going to wait. Final fight on the way.
Fusion Uni still really, really far ahead in ult economy here. Even though first gen have now managed to build up their own, this is last fight. Whoever wins this either determines the map really for the rest of it. There's the rally coming out. Both teams still setting up bombs. There's the trance too. This is so aggressive on the side of first gen.
First gen just going straight in. Meanwhile, Nice just biding his time, going, I'm going to drop this grab all over you guys in just a moment. Drops the grab, does exactly that. Safri can't get away, and now they look to Nomi. Isolation coming in, heavy fire, and with the shatter, this is looking like Fusion University is going to grab it. They drop the barrier just to be sure. We're in overtime. Everything on the table, and this payload is going to stop right here.
A good push for first gen, though. Yeah. I would say wasn't the best. You didn't full cap, but still a good push. And even though they didn't have the combo set up for that last fight, they still had so much damage. Rob invested the trance so early. They were able to clean up. You see here, Rob using that trance to keep Nomi alive. But because of it, they did now have this grab for after and just could kill everyone because there were no support.
Really smart positioning coming in from Nice there, where he got the best of all worlds. He wasn't a threat in terms of the other team seeing him, and he was getting damage from that positioning, and he had a very easy to set up grab at the very end. What more do you want from Zarya in that situation?
Maybe just get the wipe on your own. You don't have to invest anything. Just your Zarya just hard carries you. Use those big muscles to, you know, just get the six-man wipe there.
Yeah, they had to sort of get rid of her old ultimate where she just started punching people. It was far too strong. But now we're going to be swapping sides here once more. We're going to be seeing how the teams do when they trade off roles, and it's going to be first generation on the defense. And given what we've seen from them here so far, are we really expecting anything meaningful to change? The answer, we'll see.
By meaningful, do you mean win the map, or maybe a different play style, or what meaningful are we looking for here?
Really, all of the above. Tell me what could be different here on this defense.
They could win the map. I think they showed a very solid offense. I think this is a map that lends itself very well to GOATs, especially on the last point. And First Gen has had a pretty good GOATs so far, especially this contender season. They've been looked at a little bit above everyone in terms of, besides, you know, obviously Atlanta and, you know, maybe Fusion and XL2, they're still looking top 4 in terms of GOATs play alone.
I would say just to that point as well, First Gen is a team where even if they aren't able to hold on to the #1 seed, I fully expect them to be in the playoffs. I think they are good enough to secure top 4 in this group, no questions about it.
And the Fusion looks like they might be rolling out with this Sombra Pharah comp, getting that a lot of mobility, getting a lot of poke, First Gen holding close, trying to utilize the spawn out here. Naga so low right now. They use bubbles to keep him alive. They're having to hide. Snillo gets a pick on Rob, and that's going to be it for this first.
You get the early pick onto the Zenyatta, you focus the Brigitte, they can't move forward, and just so much damage coming in from Bernard right now. And that's going to be enough. That will ruin the train wreck strategy, and it's going to let Fusion University get a lot of progress here in this payload.
They still haven't cleaned up all of the picks on the payload, though. The stagger is lasting a very long time. They do get a lot of ult charge out of it, but well played from First Gen to stagger their deaths, keep the cart from not moving, prioritize the cart time. But Fusion Uni playing that comp very well. We notice a solo tank, by the way, for Fusion Uni. Only Hammond.
Yeah, this is, of course, the classic quad DPS Stormquake style that we're seeing come in from Fusion University. It's been very popular here on Route 66. It's something to get excited about, but it's also something where Fusion University playing a bit with the house money right now.
Fusion Uni looking to take this engage on the choke. They're going to set up the EMP, set up the barrage. Nomi so low. Will it come out? It looks like it is right here.
Well, they dropped the EMP early on. Where's the follow-through going to be? And Fusion University, you see Bernard over the drop, drops the barrage, and that's another 2 coming in. And once you start getting ults up, this quad DPS setup can be very, very impressive.
And Route 66 is perfect for a setup like this as well because there's so many flanks, so much verticality. You can use a lot of space. First Gen probably going to have to give up this point. They can come back if they want. Nomi's playing that Winston, but I really wouldn't recommend it considering the Hanzo ult. So
I see the Dragon go straight down Broad Street there. Barrier up from First Gen as they try and bring this back. You even have Zapri on McCree right now. A little bit of anti-air control. Looking for Bernard. Shoots him out of the sky, but he wasn't looking to the other side. Snillo going to plunk him right in the head.
Can get the res. If he gets the res, this fight is not over on the side of Fusion Uni. Chainzik has those mines. Does not look like Elk's going to be able to get this res in time. Now they're just playing a slow game, and First Gen wins the slow game. They went against My Advice. They did very well to beat through the Dragon and also come back, and Fusion Uni didn't have any ults to finish the fight.
Chainzik drop the mines here. Snillo uncontested to the right-hand side. A lot of room to get some shots. Can't get the Brigitte. A little bit off the head. Now Fusion going to be rotating over to the left, but they're very drained right now. And the ult power they have going into this fight, Alarm under pressure, gonna fall. Zapri, a Helix rocket eliminates him, and First Gen really fighting this one back.
I think first Fusion will have to swap.
Yeah.
I think Fusion will have to swap. Their momentum's gone. They have no ults. Alarm is close to another EMP, but Bernard swapped to Brigitte. He's not on the Pharah anymore because they're running a comp that can counter him, but they don't have any combos now. They will be swapping.
Yep, the ye old Go Goats forehead swap coming out here from Fusion University. But look, something like quad DPS, even if it is the way to go, and there's reason to believe that it could be, it takes a lot of practice. It's not an easy composition to just suddenly start running.
A lot of setup goes into it, making sure you know those angles, know how to get the poke, know how to get the engage. Here comes Fusion Uni from the far right, just trying to get them off high ground, and they do.
So, a little bit of rotation coming in here. Zapri, for the most part, making sure he has sightlines. But this is a hard composition for a soldier to do a lot to because of all the shields in his way. So, First Gen, goal here, do damage on the outskirts, look for a pickoff. Fusion University, though, they got nice! Hui with the bomb finds one, and that's where it's very difficult for this composition to hold versus real DPS characters.
Well played from Nomi, from Hui, continuing to show a very strong showing this series. The Primal moving everyone around, dislodging them, making sure there isn't a shield in place. Bomb getting 1 kill there is fine because you're able to clean it up. The stagger on Bernard, this is very brutal.
Well, we're down to the final 10 seconds. He's not going to be in the final fight. First Generation about to put 1 map win to their total here. Fusion University, can they even touch the payload here? Sacrificial Lucio moving on in. Elk on the payload, but here's the Tac Visor. Going to be looking to gun down everyone who's mindlessly hitting to the payload.
Point.
Oh, yeah.
They do get Elk to touch it, but he's going to die for it. That Tac Visor, the Bernard not being there. Well played for First Gen. The first hold is out. It's over. There's no way that they can win this fight outside of Fusion Uni.
And they were able to deal with the quad DPS setup coming in from Fusion University. Of course, a big part of that is that they had a good swap of their own, right? Where they did not try to fight it. Normally, they said, you know what, we're going to make changes of our own. We're going to come in with the soldier. And you know what, Zapri can play that pretty darn well, so it does work out for them in the end.
Zapri making a great swap. The H key, strong, very strong. And they play it perfectly. I would have loved to see First Gen play that perfectly the rest of the series, because I think it was there. I think they had the capability. But showing off that quad DPS, which I know you've been hammering about, you've been wanting the quad DPS for so long, Fusion Uni does pull it out, but they aren't able to clean up the fight. They aren't able to take the map with it.
I do feel a little bit like the kid on Christmas who really gets hyped over the ability to get a certain present, and then you get it, and it's nowhere near as good as you thought. It's kind of what we felt right now at Fusion University, where it didn't quite live up to the commercials, didn't quite live up to the hype. I do think there's a world in where it can live up to the hype, but right now, this ain't it.
This ain't it, Chief. I agree with that. I agree with that a lot. Quad DPS has the potential. We've seen it, but Fusion Uni obviously didn't look very practiced on it, or maybe they just had a bad day on it. They weren't getting the value they needed. They didn't have the cart presence they needed on the recontest, because that's where the Quad DPS breaks down. The recontest, you get that first fight win, but First Gen was able to just come back. They had made their swaps, and then they just play on the point, and they play the slow game, and they win.
Definitely worked out for them here. And look, I think one thing to take away is that I don't actually think Fusion University would have gone full quad DPS here if they didn't have the series in the bag. I do think that they would have come out a little bit more standard from the get-go. But if you're first generation and you're reviewing how the series went, you're still pretty happy with the overall end result in that, all right, you've lost to the champions, great, so hasn't everyone else. But you're still proving that you're in it and that you do have good playoff hopes, and you have time to improve between then and now.
It's not crunch time for them. They don't have to feel the pressure. They have the chance to move forward, to continue working on their weaknesses, working on their strengths. Their goats looked very strong, even though they showed a hesitation to swap of it when they should, even though they did swap there. I would have liked to see it on Hanamura.
Yep.
But First Gen, not out of the running by any means. They're not feeling the heat nearly as much as some other teams like Envy, like Mayhem Academy. They have Uprising Academy. They have a lot of work to do.
They do, but of course we still have a lot of season in front of us, and even today, more games going to be coming at you right after the break.